Well, hello everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Kai Bracher, and in this video I'm doing a time-lapse sculpting copy of the thinker, the famous sculpture of French artist Auguste Rodin. And I'm not the native English speaker, which is pretty obvious, and I'm struggling most of the time in finding the words, so I apologize for that, and I hope you're patient with my very slow going on and searching for words. I beg your pardon here. I might improve on this front as well during my next videos. So the software I'm using is Sculptris. Sculptris is a free software and you can download it at pixelogic.com. I'm gonna check my script here. So you can see me here sculpting along, blocking out the greater shapes, the greater forms of the sculpture. And actually, this is not a introduction or tutorial for Sculptris. There are plenty good tutorials and introduction videos out there, so that's not what I'm doing here. I might give a little information about Auguste Rodin, the sculptor, and the thinker in particular, as I'm going along with the sculpting. But as I'm a designer and not an art historic person, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple here. So, alright, I'm going to talk about one specific topic here, which I encountered during the Sculpt, and that's the problem you get if you have a mesh which is intersecting itself. By mesh I mean one continuous connected mesh object. So in this case right now the figure is one mesh object and the socket is another. But as soon as you intersect a mesh with itself, you run in let's say at least difficulties, because once the mesh is intersecting itself, it's close to impossible to sculpt only on one side of the mesh. So in this special case, what's gonna happen? I guess you all know the thinker, you know how he sits on his stone block, and his elbow is on his left elbow, will be on his left thigh, and his right wrist will also be on his left thigh, and his hand is on his chin. So that's why what I'm doing here, why I'm separating the thinker into two parts, the head and the body. I didn't think that through the beginning, so I had to split it right here, which is not too much a problem. As you see, I just duplicate the whole sculpture and then move away the parts I don't want anymore, and then put the head on the body. The good thing about that is that you can now handle the parts differently. You can move, for example, only the head or only the body, and you can also hide separate objects. So right now it's pretty easy to hide the head. If I'm, for example, sculpting on the hands, which I will be soon doing here. Yeah, so much about this particular subject. Well, I could have made the arms as separate objects too, but as I knew from the beginning that I was going to have a 3D print of the guy, which is right here. Oh, that's the cam. I had to prepare for that as well, so I wanted to have it printed in a decent size, about 10 centimeters, and this is much cheaper if you make an object hollow, because at most printing services you pay for what you get, which is kind of obvious. You pay for the amount of material that is used for whatever you're printing, and yeah, the more separate objects you have in your final sculpt, the more, let's say, complicated it is in your final 3D editing software to make it a nice hollow mesh. Because if at the so as the video is still running, I might also talk a little bit about Rodins. And I'm pretty much reading part of the Wikipedia article here, so if it sounds a little wooden, that's because it is a little wooden. I apologize for that, but I wanted to spend my time and energy sculpting and not writing something that's already been written. Alright. Rodins was born on November 12th in 1840. He was a French sculptor. Although Rodin is generally considered the progenitor of modern sculpture, he did not set out to rebel against the past. He was schooled traditionally and took a craftsman-like approach to his work and desired academic recognition, although he was never accepted into Paris' foremost school of art. Sculpturally, Rodin possessed a unique ability to model a complex, turbulent, deeply pocketed surface in clay. Many of his most notable sculptures were roundly criticized during his lifetime. They clashed with the predominant figure sculpture tradition, in which works were decorative, formulaic, or highly thematic. Rodin's most original work departed from traditional themes of mythology and allegory, modeled the human body with realism, and celebrated individual character and physicality. Rodin was sensitive to the controversy surrounding his work, but refused to change his style. Successive works brought increasing favor from the government and the artistic community. Well, that's Rodin died on November 17th in 1917, and by that time he was a very famous and world-renowned artist. When I read about his life, I was surprised to come to know that he has worked as an assistant and anonymous helper for other already famous or well-known sculptors of his time for almost 20 years. And he was pretty much very poor and always broke until he was almost 50. So, being the progenitor of modern sculpture obviously doesn't help you in your younger years. Well, the video is pretty long, it's about 23 minutes in total, but I didn't want to speed it up too much. It seems pretty hectic to me already, so I hope you follow through with me. It's a lot of fine-tuning going on now, and the finer you go, the longer it takes. So here the hand is made, the fingers are pulled out. The thinker, I might as well talk about the thinker a little bit, as the video is still going on. The thinker wasn't originally planned to be a standalone sculpture. It was part of the opus magnum of Auguste Rodin, which was the Gates of Hell. The gates of Hell were a portal for Paris planned Museum of Decorative Arts, and he was awarded the commission to design and sculpt the Gates of Hell. Although the museum was never built, Rodin worked throughout his life on the Gates of Hell, which was a monumental sculptural group depicting scenes from Dante's Inferno in a high relief. And the thinker originally pictured Dante, the medieval poet, and he sits exposed above the door panels. Besides the thinker, many other famous Rodin sculptures originally were part of the Gates of Hell and later became art pieces of their own. Very well-known example is the Kiss, the sculpture The Kiss, or plenty of others, Adam and Eve, and yeah. I've been to one of the replicas of the Gates of Hell in Zurich, Switzerland. It's besides the Kunsthaus in Zurich. It's the art museum there, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. Fantastic piece of art. So we're almost at 20 minutes of the video. Okay, there's something else I want to talk about, and Rodins' life gives a great example for this topic, and that is who judges your art, who judges what you are doing. I didn't mention that in his biography, but through all his life he struggled for recognition, at least in his younger years, but even as he was already an accomplished and famous sculptor, he was how do you call it? He was spurned and mocked by his foes, that's just, or his enemies, his opponents. So it wasn't that his art was always welcomed from everybody. So I mean, nowadays we see in him the progenitor of modern sculpture. He's maybe the greatest sculptor since Michelangelo, and he was 3 times denied to study at the Academy of Arts. Can't be for lack of talent here. His sculpture group, the Burghers of Calais, which are nowadays one of Rodin's best known and most acclaimed works, they was in fact burned as an outrageous sacrilege and caused a huge scandal when he introduced it. Just checking the time of the video here. His sculpture of French novelist Balzac, which he did as a commission, was rejected by his clients and mocked by the press. And so I asked myself, should he have given up after not being allowed to the Academy? Should he have believed his critics who hated his art? And should he have changed course? And would there be a thinker today if he had? Yeah. Who judges what is good art? Who judges what is art? Who judges about what you are doing? And are these the right people in the right places to judge? Just asking. Right, I'm pretty much done here, doing some fine-tuning on the piece, and so finally I wanted to let you know that I will put up the 3D model of the thinker to my website www.kaibracher.com for free download. As well, I will put up the sculpture or the copy up on my shapeways shop, which is called Cabrada, and make it also for free download. And if you want to have a 3D printed version, you can have one, and I won't put any markup on top of the 3D printing costs in this case, because it's just a copy. So yeah, you can get cast replicas of the thinker cheaper than that print anyway. So I don't know if it makes sense, but I'm always so excited about the 3D printing thing, and yeah, that's why I did it. So what's the time? Almost done. Okay, let's end with, I originally wanted to do 10 things I've learned by doing the thinker, but I only came up with 8 until now. So, number 1. There are 23 cast versions of the original sized monumental thinker version all around the world. Number 2. One of them is on Rodins' tomb. Number 3. Rodin was 3 times denied access to the Academy of Arts. Number 4. The thinker wasn't planned as a standalone sculpture, but was part of the Gates of Hell. Number 5. Rodin got established as a sculptor around the age of 50. Number 6. If you're sculpting or painting, don't go into details too soon. This is absolutely nothing new, but it's a trap I'm keep on walking in. So number 7. If you're doing a video recording with your webcam, check your microphone settings before you record. Number 8. When you plug in your headphones in your laptop, it might switch from internal microphones to the headset microphones, which is not good if your headset is just lying on the table. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and visit again.